Some people say that you shouldn't tempt fate, and for those, I do not disagree. But I never learned anything by playing it safe. I say fate should not tempt me.
But I believe the great is still yet to come. I won't stop fighting, man, until I'm done.
Good morning. Welcome to the 20th edition of the Breakfast Ball. You know what I found out yesterday was O.J. Simpson passed away.
I saw that.
Yeah.
You want to know why I saw that, Bob?
Why is that?
Because I was trying to watch the Masters, and they decided to play that instead of play the Masters. And I was a little upset about it, not going to lie. I, quite frankly, don't care too much about that, and I care a little bit more about Augusta National.
You blew me away on that, because I just, he didn't say who's that, but it's kind of where it was. So I guess you got to be a little bit older for that. But I do have some hard-hitting political commentary on the O.J. Simpson death. About time. That guy, if anybody deserved it, that man did. Okay, I'm just saying. Anyway. So I'm Bob Carter, your host of the Breakfast Ball. To my left, your far right, the dashing Richie Stoltz. And we now make our new public service announcement with every episode. If you get something out of this and you end up becoming rich and famous, we get 10%. Just saying.
And if you don't get anything out of this and you become rich and famous,
we still get 10%.
We get 10%.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. All inclusive. Very good. It's a society.
Yeah, we don't discriminate.
No, we're very inclusive.
You can all
here.
give us 10%.
Inclusive. Yes. So bottom line, if you're rich and famous or you get rich and famous, we'd like 10%. Thank you. Okay. Anyway, with that said, but today's episode is about being bold. So the Masters is being played this weekend. It started yesterday. However, you're not going to see this episode until Monday after it's over. So, no, I did not pick Bryson DeChambeau, and nor did you. But that's okay. All right. I find that guy fascinating because, a couple of years ago, he was talking all this kind of trash about Augusta. Hey, it's not that hard. He's gonna rip it up, and then he never plays well there. Yeah. But you know what? He 7 under after the first round today. That's strong. So, it kind of reminded me of a thing that you and I talked about earlier, is about being bold. I always say I'd rather ask for forgiveness than permission, for sure. And I live my life a lot that way. So I have friends, actually, my former brother-in-law, a bunch of my friends, fraternity brothers, even family, that they do all that. You do it are you like the online betting to stuff?
Not really.
Not really? Okay.
Not really.
Yeah.
I used to, but I lose every time.
Yeah, it's just right.
That's discriminatory.
Right. Very good.
We're not. They are.
Mm-hmm.
They don't let me win.
Mm.
It's ridiculous. So
I do think the man keeps us down. I do. But no. Just teasing. But so anyway, I had the conversation today with, I forget who exactly it was, but they're like, Bob, why don't you gamble? Why don't you, because your logo or your motto is I'd rather ask for forgiveness and permission. And I said, you know what, brother, I gamble all the time, but the only thing that I ever bet on for the most part is me. I know how successful I've been with the things that I do. So rather than gamble on a Texas Hold'em, I'd rather gamble on the fact that we get stuff done.
Yeah,
that's what we do. I mean, to get as far as we've gotten, even with this podcast, we don't know what we're doing. All I know is I've been really successful in coaching. So I try to put that together with life. Yeah, that's the way I figure it. Mike Ballard gave me the stats the other day. For over a decade, I think I was the most winning coach in Rutgers school history. 52 first-team all-conference players, a bunch of All-Americans. We had a woman win the United States Mid-Amateur champion. We had Zach make the finals USM. You beat the number 4 player in the country. You were an All-American. And you can't have that degree of success over a decade and not be doing something right. So without me dominating the entire conversation, how about this? Let me throw this to the dashing Richie Stoltz. Give me something that you did that initially scared the shit out of you, that you took a bold step that worked out, and you're like, wow, that was awesome. I'm glad I did it. It made a big change in my life.
Yeah, the biggest thing, the biggest the boldest step, the one that was kind of like, I don't know if this is right, but I'm going to do it anyway, was leaving Methodist. When I left Methodist, I was working in the golf industry. It was kind of what I've always wanted to do.
And they just won the national championship, right?
And this was 2 years prior.
2 years prior, okay.
Yeah, because I was there for 2 years. They won it the first year I was there.
Okay.
Or so a year prior, whatever it was.
Yeah.
But I didn't know if I wanted to stay in the golf industry. I didn't know if I wanted to play for that team. I didn't know what to do, and I just, at one point just said, you know what? I'm done. I'm out of here. Change of scenery.
Right.
Let's
this
go
was
elsewhere.
Awesome coach in the Northeast part
I
of the
heard
country.
there was this awesome coach, and then somehow I ended up at Rutgers. No, I'm just kidding.
Right. I get that a lot. Okay.
No, but it was just it was almost like I don't know how this is going to turn out, but let's see what happens. And I told you before, my first ever tournament win was with you. I think our second tournament we played.
I get 10%, by the way.
By the way, I saw one of the guys in the group lessons from years past. He doesn't do it anymore, but he said something to me. How's the golf game going? This, that, and I told him I had the U.S. Open qualifier coming up, and he says to me, "Oh, good luck, man. I hope I see you on TV." Blah 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 blah. I was like, "Man, I don't know if I want to be on TV." And he's, "Why?" I'm like, well, that means I'm going to be rich and famous, and I'm rich and famous. I got to give Bob 10%. And he started cracking up.
Well, but I completely agree. I don't find that amusing at all.
But no, that was probably the boldest step I took, because I did get a lot of, not hate, but people did say stuff about it.
People tell
about
you
me
all the
leaving
time what you can't
Methodist.
do, man.
Yeah. So that was a bold step. Didn't know how it was going to turn out. Ended up turning out for the better.
Yeah, for sure. Look, I mean, we, to my point of view, I mean, Candace ended up, being we ended up knocking off the number 1 team in the country, and then we ended up, I think we were ranked 15th in the country. Got most improved team in the nation at that point. The Mark Lee Shore is what they call it.
Best finish in a national championship too, I believe.
Yeah,
I think that was the first. Was that the first cut?
As a team, we had individuals make it before, but that's the first cut as the team. Yeah. So that's I love that, because it's, you got to jump. Like, that's the whole, everything that we do. I just, people with excuses and whatnot drive me nuts. Or regret. I hate regret too. My oldest son, who you played with, I love him to death. But he said to me at one point, and he's 27 now. He said to me at one point, probably a year or two ago, he's like, he was hitting the golf ball. Well, actually, I think we were playing the scramble, he and I, and we were doing well. And he said something to the effect of, boy, I wish I'd worked a little harder when I was there. And because he ended up being like the 6th man on the team that went to the national championship. And if you don't know college golf, you only play the top 5. So he just said it in passing, but kind of like, I'm like, man, like, because the kid's so damn talented. Yeah. And he's so damn young still. I mean, he's got his, life to live. He's gonna have a lot of successes in life. But like, you only get one chance at playing, college golf. Mm-hmm. You only get one chance, and like I would say, I think it's less than 0.5% of all college athletes make it to the NCAA finals. Yeah. To have that opportunity is awesome. So again, the kid's super talented, and I know he's going to do great things. But to hear someone say after the fact, "I wish I worked harder when I was there," jump, man, jump. Anyway, that's. I guess the quote that I wrote down this morning was, the door for those bold enough. Oh, the door opens for those bold enough to knock. So you knocked. Yeah. I knock. I guess how we ended up being actually here. Great story. Well, I think it's a great story.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Better than the O.J. Simpson story. Gosh. It's amazing how that dominated the news last night, by the way. Every channel I turned on, an O.J. Simpson thing.
I know, it made me mad. I didn't care.
Yeah, I
just didn't care. I was like, okay, he's dead. Great, cool, awesome. On to the next Masters.
I wonder if you're the family of that got affected by that. Are you happy, or like I guess you would be, but that's a tough one. Anyway. So let's get off the O.J. topic, shall we? So my NEAC story. So about 15 years ago, the athletic director at Rutgers came to me and he said that we're looking to make this a full-time position. Because up until that point, it was a part-time position. And to be honest with you, if you go back and look at records from over 15, 20 years ago, Rutgers golf wasn't all that good. But then again, when you're paying somebody, part-time salary, that's what you get. I did my best with the time I had allotted, but that's all I could do at that time. He comes to me and said, let's make it a full-time position. I'm like, well, if that's what we're talking about, then I want the kids to have something to play for. And it's very difficult in this part of the country to get an automatic bid to the NCAA. There's very few out there. But if you win a major conference, like March Madness, you get an automatic qualifier. So I said to my AD, can we try to get into a major conference? Because although the NJAC, which is a very, very strong conference in sports, doesn't have enough teams to qualify as a golf AQ. So he's like, "Get Bob, whatever you want to do." He's like, "If you want to, go out there and see what you can find." So you know me, right? The second he kind of said that, I'm like, "Okay." So I start calling conference commissioners, which I found out you're not supposed to do. But okay, I'm calling one after the other, and I finally found a conference that would agree to see us. So me and the assistant athletic director drove 6 hours north to this meeting, and we presented for Rutgers, and they let us in. And at that point, you could see we went meteoric good at that point. So I started recruiting, I started working and at that point, it became my passion. And I think we made either it was 8 or 9 national championships in a row out of 11 years. Mm-hmm. That is, to me, there's taking a jump. There's saying, hey, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to make sure that my kids have a chance to play for something.
Yeah.
So, I love that story just because of the fact it's something if you, even in life, relationships. I mean, if you're in a bad, if you're in what I'd call a toxic relationship, if you're in one of those, jump. You're not going to get anything different in your world unless you jump, right? So that's what one more quote, and then I'll let you go with it.
Okay.
Yeah. They there's a song years ago, you probably didn't hear it. It's by Mary Chapin Carpenter, and it's called "I'll Take My Chances." And there's a lyric in there that it says, "Some people say that you shouldn't tempt fate, and for those I do not disagree. But I never learned anything by playing it safe. I say fate should not tempt me." And every time that lyric comes on, I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what I'm. Yeah, that's exactly. Right? I'm going to take my chances, and if I win, I win. I lose, I lose. But at least you know what, I did it my way.
Yeah.
It's my brother's favorite song, by the way. I did it my way. Yeah. Shout out to my brother. All right. Anyway, go.
How about we talk about Bryson DeChambeau real quick?
Good.
I think he's the definition of bold.
Bold. Yes.
I think what they call him the golf mad scientist or something like that when he first came on tour, and
yes,
he wore the funky hat and he had the awkward swing and the same length
bulked
clubs.
Up to the summit. So the same length club thing's weird too. We'll talk about that.
But but he. All those different things that he does, the different putter grips that he's tried out. Yep. He's gotten a lot of hate for all the weird things that he's tried. But look at that guy.
Yeah.
You can hate him all you want, but he's got some talent. And he's leading the Masters. How could you say he's doing stuff wrong when he's when he wins golf tournaments, when he gets these contracts, everything. He's doing a lot of stuff right, and most of that is just his own. He might be the only guy on tour that does it. He just got. I saw a news article yesterday that it just intrigued me. It was Bryson DeChambeau uses 3D printed golf clubs after being approved on Monday. I think it just got approved. Yeah. Okay. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, what in the world is a 3D printed golf club?
I was going to ask you that question because I don't know what that is. I don't know.
Well, I think it's just. Those 3D printing devices that they have, something with those. I think the article said how he had them 3D printed, then they had to grind out the grooves on them a little bit thicker so they were legal. And next thing you know, he's allowed to play him, and I'm sure he's going to get a lot of hate for that.
Yeah.
Oh, he's using these clubs that just got approved, and they just got approved. I mean, whatever they are, whatever they're doing for him, it's some new company that 3D prints the clubs, I guess, and he's the first one using them, and clearly, if you were to ask
if he
me,
wins, yeah,
they work.
Well, no doubt. I'll tell you, if he wins, those things won't stay on the shelves.
Yeah.
And when Nicholas won the '86 Masters, and I still have the VHS tape from that, when he won that, right, he used this gigantic headed putter. The putter was like it was long and like if you look at it nowadays, it looks like a cheap like you wouldn't like compared to what putters look like today.
Yeah.
You'd think that's like a Ronald McDonald putter, right? Basically, but he used that, and I was in golf sales at that point. Holy shnikes, man! That you couldn't keep that putter on the shelf. It flew off like that's the putter to have. That had a shelf life of about 6 months, I think. But yeah. So back to Bryson though. That's the guy also says crazy stuff, like but you know what? You don't remember the people in this world that follow everybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although the single length golf club thing, I remember we're on the bus. I think it was your team. I don't remember who it was. There's somebody like, Coach, that's like it's revolutionary. Da, 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 da. I'm like, no, that's been done before. No, it's never been done before. Okay, if you're home, Google Tommy Armour EQL. Okay. Roughly maybe early 1990s, they were all one length. Just saying. It's like recycled baseball managers. Ideas always come back. But like, I like that though. I do. Again, I'm a traditionalist, so when somebody comes along and rocks a boat who I think is full of crap, I kind of rebel against that. But when that person proves themselves, what was it Babe Ruth said? It's only bragging if you can't back it up.
Yeah.
If you're bragging or whining or talking about crap and you can't back it up, then I don't have a heck of a lot of respect for you. But if you are bold and you're trying and you're throwing yourself out there and you're giving it that extra and you make it work, you go, man. That's exciting. Like that's what makes the world different. That's from anything that we did. Like throw yourself out there, man. Were you at the NCAA? We had the banquet for. Was that your team? We're at the NCAA banquet where they're giving all the regional players of the year and all that kind of stuff award, and I'm sitting there and I'm sitting at the table with our players, and one of the higher ups, Bob, came over to our table, saying the person that was supposed to present the Mid-Atlantic region awards.
Yeah.
Apparently got sick. They were upstairs like physically ill. And do you know of anybody who could get up and make a presentation, on behalf of the Mid-Atlantic region? And I'm like, yep, I'll do it. He's like, you do realize there's several hundred people here. You'd have to get up and give a presentation on 5 minutes notice. Yeah, I got it. Thanks. And he walked away, and everybody at the table was like, Coach, wait, you're going to get up and give a speech in 5 minutes to everybody in this room? I'm like, yeah, I plan on doing it. I'm one of those weird people that enjoys public speaking. So I said, just give me the pronunciation of the names and I'll go up. So I went up there. I gave a speech. I made whatever I made up. And after it was over, two guys that were involved in the GCAA and NCAA came up to me and was like, you did wonderfully. Like, have you ever considered being on a committee? And from that point, I ended up on, I think, 2 regional/national committees. Mm-hmm. That never would have happened unless I said, you know what? Hey, I'll do it. They're like, man, this guy's nuts enough to get up and do it. So yeah, that's how life works. Yeah. And I know, like we talked about you specifically, about reaching the next level of where you were golf game to be, and Richie, raises money and hops and he plays. How many times have you traveled? A couple times, right, across the country to try to qualify for a different thing?
I usually travel 2 to 3 times a year, something like that, just to play in some tournaments.
Yeah, and I know people giving you crap, like, well, why don't you just try to play something local? First of all,
there is nothing local.
Yeah, exactly. There is almost nothing local. And two, you know what? If you want to achieve your dream, like, as I said to you when you came back, the one time you're like, well, I didn't achieve what I wanted to. And what did I tell you?
Yeah, I think you said, it was just bold for me to just go out there. You were proud of me for just going out there and taking the shot.
Damn proud of you.
Yeah. So, I mean, to me at the time, it didn't seem like much. I just, I think we talked about it on a previous
Yeah.
episode, but
Yeah.
it didn't seem like much to me.
No.
But when you mentioned it, it was like, oh, I guess that was, kind of something out of the ordinary that people might not do.
Yeah, but even
So,
this, right? What we do,
yeah.
right? People, you got a podcast? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, like, okay, okay, like it's a bit like that movie Legally Blonde. You got into Harvard? Wow, like it's a big deal. Like anyway, it's,
Yeah.
your golf school programs started when you have 90-something people. Yeah, you guys are teaching at 3 different locations. Yeah, you guys run special events. Yeah, like as golf schools go, like I just keep throwing crap out there and let's go, man. Let's we try to learn as much as we can. We try to achieve as much as we can. That's what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's being big. That's bold, folks. Be bold, right? That's what people don't follow. Like any if you're gonna be quiet and meek, and that's fine. Like I just don't want you to get to the end of your life and say, boy, okay. And I think we mentioned this before, but I'm gonna roll. Okay. Yeah, I don't want to be sitting in an old age home somewhere when somebody turns and asks me, what's your biggest regret in life? My regret is going to be, I don't want my regret to be things I didn't do. I want my regrets to be, things that I tried and didn't succeed with, because they did actually.
Which is that really a regret?
Hell no, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's not even really a regret. If you give it a shot and you just don't succeed, it's I always say that's one of the reasons. Like if someone says is it time to give up golf? It's like no, because if I do give up now, while I still have the talent, while I still have the drive, what I'm gonna look at it later on and go, man, I just gave up.
Yeah.
I just straight up gave up.
Yeah.
Instead of going out there and if I don't achieve what I want to, it is what it is. I'm going to give it my all until I have other things that I have to take care of that, I'm content with. I gave it everything I got.
And in perspective, you have talent, man. Like,
yeah.
You were an All-American. You won a bunch of tournaments. Like, course records. I mean, like, what separates the dashing Richie Stoltz from someone else? Like, that I mentioned last episode of Barbara Corcoran. She found that the people that were the most highly successful on Shark Tank were the people that weren't necessarily given a silver spoon that they had to work for. And if you have the kind of talent you have, like, why not go for it? Like, you don't want to be sitting, at 60 years old going, boy, I won a bunch of college tournaments, and like, I work. That's when I recruit players. Like, I'm recruiting a guy now who's coming next month. And he's like, well, I think I'm going to, possibly not go to college and go into the trades. And I'm like, I think the trades are fantastic. I said, but you know what? You can always go back to the trades. Your athletic life is limited. Like, you're not going to be in this prime condition in your life, your whole life, right? Give it a chance now. And if it doesn't work, then go into the trades.
I think there was a quote I heard once too that was like, you are closest to achieving your goals when you give up.
Yeah.
It's like you give up when you're right about to achieve it, and then you just...
It's actually Chuck Norris said something like that. You never know when the next obstacle is going to be the last obstacle.
I've also heard it a lot with gambling. But I
you
know
what?
that's not necessarily where we're going here.
No. All right. So anyway,
don't gamble.
this is Masters Friday right now, and just so you know, we did a fun little mock pool. I have Scotty Scheffler winning. I know it's a bold prediction, but that's what I got. And I also have Freddie Couples making the cut. So I think he's 4 over yesterday. Well, because he's made a ton of cuts anyway. But so now if we play this next week, you can see if I'm right. I tried to get green jackets, by the way, but I just didn't have the time. Maybe next week we'll wear green jackets, right?
I took Scotty as well.
Yeah, of course you did.
I took Scotty as well.
Yeah, obviously.
Did
not pick Bryson.
I did not pick Bryson. I did not think Bryson was going to play well.
No, because he never plays well there. Yeah.
He just, with Bryson, he just tries to bomb the ball. And, I don't... Yeah, you can... it's nice if you hit the ball far there. I think he says it's, like a par 68 for him. He pretty much plays the par 5s as par 4s.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I think, obviously it's not a par 68 to him. It's, Augusta's a tough golf course. But I see, the mindset he's trying to have that. Yeah. In his eyes, he shot 3 under yesterday.
Yeah, and the members and people don't like him for saying it, but yeah, okay.
Well, of course not. Yeah. But when I play Westwood, when I shot the course record, the 2 par 5s there, the easiest holes.
Yeah.
I parred both of those. they're both in my mind par 4s.
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
usually an 8 or a 9 iron into the one,
Yeah.
and a 6 iron or 7 iron into the other.
Yeah.
You know, they're not par 5s, they're par 4s.
No, well, they're not par 5s for you.
Well, I understand. Yeah, but
Poor average
that,
guy.
again,
You're
that's
mocking
Bryson,
the average guy.
No,
We're
that's
being
Bryson.
bold.
That's Bryson DeChambeau's thought, though.
I know that.
That's
I'm
Bryson
just
DeChambeau's
teasing.
thought. Is, you know, it might be a par 5 for you, but it's not for me. I hit the ball 50 yards past you.
I know, right?
But-
And you really do.
Yeah.
That's it.
Anyway, we both have Scotty, so if we're both wrong, you can,
Yes,
you can
we're right.
give us a little bit of. You can give us a little bit of hate for
Little grief next
trying to be bold.
Bold. I love bold. So if there's something you want to try, something you want to do, freaking just do it. I don't want to hear. I always hate the people that make excuses. You know, we're not. This is a performance psychology show, so we're not in the excuse business. If you want to get something, go get it. Okay. If you think you're worth something, go get it. I don't want to hear about life's hard. Yeah, damn right, life's hard, right? If life was easy, everybody would be happy, right? If you want to be happy, go for it. All right. Well, if you like what we're doing, please subscribe. By the way, we just went over. We got just some kind of thing. We're pushing 100,000 views in a bunch of different countries and whatnot. So we're completely thrilled about that. So if you like us, subscribe. And when you're rich and famous, we get
10%.
nice. I'm Bob Cardia, and this is
The Dashing Richie Stoltz.
Have a great Masters weekend, and we'll talk to you next week. I think that was more uplifting, more playful, more...
Glass of bourbon, ha. My bourbon, ha. My bourbon, ha. Alcohol. Because no great story ever started with, I'll have a salad.